We are nothing sacred. We are nothing sacred. We are nothing sacred.
With Maxwell Silverhammer.
We are nothing sacred. With cruise control. We are nothing sacred.
Oh boy.
Oh man. Oh goddamn.
Yeah, here we are. We're back again. It's the second Monday of the month, which means what the fuck's the day tomorrow?
Well, actually,
it's Thursday. Who fucking knows?
Who gives a shit? It's the second week of the goddamn month.
Yeah, where we were going to talk about
professionalism,
humor.
cruise
Oh, give me a
control,
fucking break.
professionalism.
You're right. Hello, this is the Nothing Sacred Shrink Wrap. My name is Cruise Control.
And I am Maxwell Silverhammer.
And with us, as usual, we have Luie Loke.
Yay!
Yeah, man.
We're going to talk about humor. We'll probably get to it a little bit. But
That's how many people are in the audience right now clapping.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. We got 3 people listening, and all that kind of shit.
Fuck, man.
Which, by the way, you know what annoys the fuck out of me, dude? The YouTubers that do premieres, like, so you see the video and you're like, oh shit, and then you hit it and you're like 30 minutes in already, and you're like, what the fuck? Why can't you just put it up like we do?
Talking about like a live stream or something like that.
It's almost like a live stream, but it's like a pre-recorded video. They can set it as a premiere. So like if for the first, whatever, say the video is an hour. So the first hour they put it up, it's premiering. So it's like you have to, it's like, what are you, Paramount fucking Pictures? Just put the video up and just let people watch at their own goddamn speed. You don't, when you click on it, you're like 30 minutes in the thing already, and you're going, what the fuck? Now I got to back it up and start from the beginning.
That's
it's the narco-ness of YouTubers. Dude, YouTubers are some of the narcissists.
Oh, dude, the ones that say, do not eat this food. Like, the food I will never eat, and you shouldn't either. It's like, fuck you. That's what they do. And they
First of all, who are you? Second of all, why should I do what you do?
Here's the funniest thing about those narcissist videos that I've watched, and I've gone through a lot of them.
Yeah.
Half of them are like, I'm gonna show you how to get rid of this narcissist. You just gotta follow these 3 steps, get my newsletter, go to my webpage, subscribe, and click the button that says notify, and I will tell you how to stop that narcissist in your life. And I'm looking at you going,
it takes one to know one, goddammit.
One to know one.
Well, first of all, that's too much damn work. I don't want to do all that shit.
Yeah. Well, it's like, who gives a shit? Like, what? You're Jesus of life now, man. I should do what you tell me to do. I know some people that follow that dumb shit, though. That everything those people say,
that's why people are so confused. Is because they get on and someone says, "Dude, fruit is great for you," and another guy says, "Sugar of any kind is terrible. Don't eat that apple." It's like, while you're crunching on the apple, this is healthy for. Oh shit, is it not healthy? It's like, fucking, it's fruit. It's healthy. Fucking break.
Exactly.
It ain't healthy for you. It's got sugars. Yes, they're called complex sugars, and they're broken down differently than fructose, high fructose. Whatever.
I like these guys that are multi-talented. There's another dude I like watching who's a bounty hunter, but he also raps. So, he always has pictures of him at videos of him at the gym. I'm going to show you how to get, how to build some muscle, and this is how you can be like me. And I'm just like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah. It's almost as bad as those shows that have a once a month program where we get like a psychology guy on here and try to
and they call it something about shrink wrapping.
Anyway, we were going to talk about humor tonight. We'll get to it. Let's go back to the Will Smith, because that is actually about humor. It's about a joke and what's not taken as a joke and what is.
Right.
Because first of all, everyone knows what happened. Chris Rock made a very tame, just borderline fucking milk toast joke.
He called it milk toast. Yeah,
milk toast. Just like, hey, about G.I. Jane, which is a movie about 20 years ago that came out with, and the thing about it is everyone's like, well, she has alopecia. And it's like, all right, so he's supposed to everybody in the audience, I want you to give me your medical history before you get up on stage. I got to know exactly what's going on with you. He made an offhand joke. And now people are saying, well, he had a right to be upset. It's like, oh, come on.
Hell no.
I'll tell you what, man, I get a kick out of, and we're all visually impaired on here. I mean, I get a kick when people make a little blind joke that I wasn't expecting. Like,
Oh, yeah, I love
shoot,
it.
that was
Clever ones,
hilarious.
Yeah, good blind jokes are funny as fuck.
And that's
Yeah.
the thing, like,
Yeah.
and that because we get so much of the common jokes, and the jokes are so low hanging fruit that when we get a good, clever one, we're like, oh fuck, that was good, you know?
Right,
I throw 'em
exactly.
out, like, you know, I throw out the one if I know no one's heard the blind eye, you know, I'll turn a blind eye to what you're saying.
Yeah, because
Boom,
it's
instant laugh,
right.
boom.
Well,
Yeah.
you know, like I had somebody just yesterday do the whole, like you said, the low hanging fruit. You know, oh, it's funny when you said you saw it, and you're like, oh, come on, man, really,
Yeah.
that's stupid. Yeah, that's
see, that's not even yeah. But this was even almost, this was just like a ha ha, like it was polite laughter.
Right.
And Will Smith laughs, looks over at his narcissistic, emotionally abusive wife who's fucking other dudes, sees her upset, runs up there, does his thing because he's also a narcissist. And he doesn't want to look like, oh my God, I'm not standing up for my wife. I got to be, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I think he didn't just want to hear her shit later. How come you didn't defend me? Because you got a dick inside.
Oh, she's a bitch. Well, let me just tell you, reading that book, she's a cunt rag, man. You know, especially the birthday party story. That was a motherfucker, dude.
I often wonder what Chris Rock was going to say because he said I could, and he stopped himself.
Wonder what he said.
You'll have to go. You have to go back to the video and see it. But after he slaps him and all that, and he says, "Dude, it was a G.I. Jane joke." Blah blah blah. He said, "I could," and then he stopped himself.
Oh,
because he was going to say something really crazy. I'm like, "Dang! Please say it. Please say it."
Yeah, seriously.
And I wish he would have, because you know like with hecklers, you know, anytime hecklers do dumb shit, they get fucking hammered.
Exactly.
Cruise Control and I we had a guy that we did improv with who was heckling somebody and he got kicked in the chest.
Yeah, it's actually really funny. It's hilarious because the guy was being a prick to a comedian. Because you don't know how hard it is for people to get up to do comedy or improv, to be up in front of people.
Yeah.
You're letting yourself vulnerable. And Chris Rock was up there, had no chance to react, and he handled it like a fucking champ. Man.
I thought he did. He
Dude,
said, "Oh wow,
oh
you know,
wow," and then the audience, and you look around that audience, man, just filled with these self-important, just this fucking blow. That's not all these fucking just desperate people, man.
I trip on those people who say, "Oh, Chris Rock should have seen something like that coming." No, he wasn't going to see anything like that coming.
No.
I mean, seriously, like, you don't expect Will Smith to get up there and do anything like that.
Yeah,
like,
and then saying
he wasn't going to do anything like that. Yeah, like, if he would have just said something to him, fine. Or just got on the mic and said, "Hey, that was a stupid joke," or well. See, I think that's what Chris Rock was thinking. He's like, "Oh, it's Will Smith. He's in a tuxedo. He's gonna come up here. He's gonna probably say something in the microphone and leave." He didn't know he was gonna hit him.
Yeah,
like he wasn't prepared for that.
Then goes and sits down and hears him yell, say it twice: "Keep my wife's name out your motherfucking mouth." And it's like, whoa. And here's the thing about it: the only reason he wasn't kicked out of there, but was because he won later on that night. They couldn't kick him out and then have him win because they knew he was gonna win.
Although they're holding his Oscars, aren't they? Aren't they holding?
Now they are because there's so much there's so much backlash. I think he got kicked out of the Academy or something. I don't know. It's all just stupid now.
Yeah. Well, at this point, fuck.
Well, because of a lack of self-control and a lack of sense of humor, and that's one of our biggest problems in society today. Is we forgot how to take ourselves less than seriously because we're filled with all these, like I said, narcissist ego people who can't actually take jokes.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Well, that's it's funny, man. I don't know if you remember Cruise Control. There was this fat kid that used to come into the VH room back in the day named Chris. Remember him?
Uh-huh.
He was not visually impaired. I will just tell you this. He was not visually impaired, but none of the other sighted kids wanted to be around him because he was just kind of a dorky, annoying fucking guy, you know? And I remember I'd crack on him, right? And when I would, he would punch me in the shoulder. And somebody, it might have even been Cruise Control, pointed out, "Dude, why do you hit him?" He was like, "Are you too stupid to fucking have a comeback?" You know what I'm saying? And so it was like, it made me think like, damn, this motherfucker, he's too dumb. He can't handle, what I threw at him, and there's people like that.
But the thing is now it's not necessarily about that. It's about hurting your identity because people's identity are now based upon this stupid, I have alopecia. So now it's part of her identity.
You can't make fun of me because of this.
I've got a disease. So it's the victim morality thing that we see. Victimhood equated to morality.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm blind, so you can't do anything to me, but I can do whatever the fuck I want. You know.
Well, that's that's what I loved about Carlos Mencia, man. Is it was open season on everyone. He didn't give a fuck.
I'm not a huge Mencia fan because he plagiarized a bunch of shit.
He's also not Mexican.
See, we don't even know if that's true or not.
Oh no, that's true. That's fucking true. I've seen many. I've done like Joe Rogan stuff, podcasts. I've seen this shit. Yeah. Oh yeah, it's real, dude. He fucking stole the shit, dude.
It's funny because I never heard anything he took, but
Amy Schumer did it too, sniping shit, people's shit. But it's interesting about humor, and this is kind of goes in with like what's like a lot of stuff that's going on now is like, from what I was reading, and maybe you can correct me, I don't know if you've heard about this, but there are 8 types of humor normally that people have, and people gravitate toward different types, and there's 4 positive and 4 negative. The four positive ones are fun, humor, nonsense, and wit. So fun would be just like probably slapstick nonsense, just like stuff that's harmless. Humor is the kind of insightful stuff that's about society or stuff. Like wit, of course, is like puns and jokes. That's my fucking forte.
Right.
Is the wit. I do a little bit of other stuff too. But then there's the 4 negative types, and those are the ones that's satire. And some of them are more negative than others. Like satire can poke fun, but it also is kind of negative. It's not a positive humor.
I love satire, man.
Oh, I know. But there's also sarcasm, cynicism, and irony. And cynicism is not a positive form of humor. But what have you heard about that? Have you heard about those types of humors and how they manifest? Have you heard about that?
I mean, it all makes sense to me, but I haven't heard that.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't go through that in depth of a study on it, but
because like okay, go on.
I love the sarcasm thing. I love the sarcasm.
Oh, I love sarcasm too.
Yeah.
I mean, I think humor's good, man. As far as like, well, that's what kind of started this whole show.
Yeah, but there is definitely negative, hurtful humor, and most of it is that kind of cynical. It's like, 'cause think about like abusive relationships. What kind of humor? Right. Sarcasm is still sarcasm. It's like, oh yes, dear. That's still
So you're kind of talking about passive aggressiveness.
Yeah, like it's like when you're nonsensical, like slapstick's like, oh, I kicked my wife in the face. Ha ha ha, it's funny. Slapstick is goofy shit that's harmless. It's fun. Humor doesn't never necessarily try to take people down. Like certain humor kind of lifts people up and makes people in a good mood, like fun humor, like puns and stuff like that.
Right.
Even wit can be a little darker. Even wit can be biting and kind of negative. So humor has 2 sides. Humor is great.
I think an important thing to talk about too is like timing.
Well, that's true.
I was reading an article. I was like, wow, that's crazy. They said that Gilbert Gottfried went up there like maybe 10 days after 9/11 happened, and he said something like, I'm going to take a plane that has a little pit stop right at the tip of the Empire State Building.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Wow. I was like, wow. And like, we can laugh at it now because we're 20 years deep. We're 20 years away from that.
Yeah.
But would I have laughed at it back then? I don't know, man. I would be like, whoa.
Yeah.
Now, humor is a way of dealing with tragedy, and it's a way that sometimes is not very, very pretty. Like if you remember the old Challenger jokes.
Oh God,
Need another 7 astronauts,
Yeah. One blue here, one blue there. Yeah.
Why did they get Dr. Pepper in the lounge because they couldn't get 7-Up?
Right.
All those jokes, they're just like, ouch, but they're funny because they kind of let you deal with it like in that way. But I think certain kind of humors don't. Like for instance, like an example was I had a person I used to hang out with. My brother was sitting, we were hanging out. My brother's a little overweight now. He's older and he's almost, 50. I think it was on his birthday or close to it. We were watching an old video of him hiking. And he had his shirt off and he was kind of buff. He was like 20. And one person said, oh, where did that guy go?
Oh, damn.
Now that's funny, right? That's a joke, correct? But it's not. It's like almost like it was absolutely uncalled for an insult, but it was like masked in humor. You know what I'm saying?
Right. But I don't know, man. Sometimes.
Yeah, but how did he take it though?
Yeah, how did he take it?
I mean,
everyone. He took it terribly because it was a joke about him being yeah.
Huh.
I mean,
I took it that way too.
Think about it though, none of us look the same as we did when we were 20.
Yes. But if you
like, I was a scrawny, skinny kid, and now I have a little pudge
Yeah,
belly, you know
but
what I'm saying?
it is a very, I know who he's talking about, and it's like, yeah,
it's a very sensitive subject to that person, and everyone knows it's a sensitive subject to that person.
Right.
Oh,
But he would play it off as, well, I was just joking. You know?
Yeah.
And it's like another example. You know,
here's also my deal. Here's also my deal with that. Like, coming back to the whole blind jokes thing. There's certain people that I will not tolerate a blind joke from. Like, if you're not in my inner circle, or you're not.
Oh, I got what you're saying. Yeah. Like, if they don't know you like that. Yeah.
Yeah. If they don't know me like that, and they come off and say that, I take that like, what are you doing, man?
Right.
Shut your mouth. You
We
know,
don't really have a rapport. Well, I know this.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about, because I had a friend that used to work somewhere, and he had a buddy, like a security guard buddy, that used to hang out with him at work. And this guy always used to, I mean, I didn't have 2 words with this guy. And every time that my buddy would call me, you'd hear this guy in the background going, "Hey, is that blind man? Ask him to look out the window and see what the weather is," or stupid, just really stupid, low hanging fruit ass jokes like Cruise Control was just talking about. So
that's the good thing about that, though, is that lets you weed out the people that you're not going to get close to.
That's true.
If they feel like they can cross that boundary and they don't even understand what you are.
Right. Well, some of those people, I think a lot of times in those cases, they're actually insecure themselves, and this is their way of like trying to build themselves up, or I don't know, maybe they're insecure about you, like you scare them somehow, and so they're like, oh, let me try to see if I can, kind of tear him down a little bit. You know what I mean?
I don't know. There is only exception to that I could see is there are definitely some people that try to treat you like just like everyone else, and if everyone's joking around and they don't know, let's say you're playing card, you barely know. So I guess there are some exceptions, but I guarantee I know what you're saying, especially when you don't know. I wonder if it's like the whole thing, like if the joke is good, like if the come on line's good, like if it's a good fucking joke, and even if you don't know,
then you might go, damn,
oh shit, that was good.
Yeah.
Like I would, but then again, I respect people's sense of humor is extremely important to me. Like in that,
but
it's what I was talking.
But it's
about.
almost like knowing who they are also.
Yeah.
Like how they are towards you. Like I would think that Chris Rock and Will Smith have a good rapport with each other.
Yeah.
You would think. Anyway.
Right.
Like that they've known each other for years. They've both been in the kind of the same industry for a long time. They know each other.
Yeah.
I mean, they know each other better than I know Chris Rock. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, that's why at first I thought he was being goofy.
At all,
well, that's why I thought it might have been him trying to be funny, in his own weird way. But yeah, as you see more, like the whole thing of "don't keep my wife's name out your mouth," then you're like, okay.
No, it's called emotional dysregulation. That's what that is. That shit is just basic, straight up. I'm going to impulsively do this because I need to do something to salvage my ego in this situation, because my wife is part of me, almost like, like I've got to defend her because she's going to get mad. And plus it's on me because, all that bullshit,
And
what's weird is that his wife has trampled his ego. So I don't know how.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
He still has one.
Well, he did look at her. I mean, it's like almost like she said, snap, crack the whip. And he went, woof. And jumped up and
right.
It's a weird, I'm still on that part, in the book. So I don't know what was the final thing that they came to as an agreement as husband and wife, but there was something where he basically said, I'm done helping you. I'm done doing nice things for you. And then he started going through a bunch of shit, whatever what's that ayahuasca shit where you have a shaman and you drink this fucking nasty tea, and I'm on that part of it now.
That's a clear sign that he's lost his sense of self-awareness or something.
He's like, definitely having some self-awareness.
I mean, or something. Sure. That's the big thing I've just seen a lot.
Yeah.
With all that. Now I've got actually, this is a kind of a side question, but it relates to this, and this is what I'm gonna about their relationship. I think open relationships are fucking unhealthy as fuck. I don't believe in polyamorous relationships.
No, I don't either
at all.
No.
I think it's a
cop out. I don't want to be with you, basically.
I don't think it's I don't see how it can be healthy. Maybe you, as in terms of just long-term health and emotional health and well-being, monogamy and I don't know. It just seems like.
So I mean, here's the real question. Here's the real thing with polyamorous relationships.
Yeah.
When a person gets into a polyamorous relationship, if it really and truly indeed is a polyamorous relationship, then they know from what they're getting into from the get-go. It's not like Will Smith's and Jada's marriage. Their marriage for like 20 years was a closed marriage.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden the rules are being changed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying. They went into it.
So
monogamous.
So when the rules are changed, somebody's going to get hurt. I mean, I don't think either one of them. Something went wrong there, because people who really truly are polyamorous are going to tell you up front, "Hey, I'm polyamorous. Are you down with that?"
Right.
And if they say yeah, or if they say no, then that's what moves the relationship forward.
Right.
But
Or not at all.
If they're not, and then they say, "Oh yeah, well, after 20 years, we're going to change the rules up."
But
what?
Here's the thing
It's
about
not what I signed up for.
Right.
About a polyamorous, and that's true because when someone, I have two thoughts, but when someone says, "Oh yeah, I want to change. I decided I want to be polyamorous." It's like, no, you found someone else you're at least as interested as I am, or you're trying to get away from, you're trying to keep what you have with me, yet eat your cake too. It's
have your cock and eat it too.
It's disingenuous. It's disingenuous.
Yeah.
It's a weird ass move. It's probably emotionally manipulative.
Well, it's like Luie was just saying, man. It's like changing the game all of a sudden. We're like, I want to try this polyamorous shit, and you're going, well, wait a minute, we didn't start out that way, But
even with polyamorous, let's say you've got, like you're in a relationship with someone who, and you know it from the beginning that she's polyamorous. And and if you're willing to do that, I think I'd be absolutely batshit if you're monogamous. If you're devoted to her, or him, and she's polyamorous, I think that's absolutely batshit. I think it's a bit in balance. But what if you are or not? Think about like kids. Parents have a favorite kid. Man. Parents probably have favorite kids. Everyone has more. They're closer to some people than others. So if you're in this polyamorous relationship, and you know that the other person is closer to the person you're with, man, I don't know. That's probably obviously a personal.
Some people can do it. Some people actually,
it just seems like you're giving away something of yourself, like you're losing some kind of, like you're not getting as much as you're willing to give because that person wants to give it to somebody else more than you. Yet you're willing to give it all for them. It's like,
well, I agree. I couldn't do it myself, but I there's people that they're down.
There's always a power dynamic. Yeah. There's always a power dynamic. Like in polygamous relationship, there's always the lead female or lead male or whatever, lead female usually. But there's always that dominant, like the first wife or something like that. There's always power dynamics. I just couldn't imagine being in that kind of crazy.
Not my deal, man. I couldn't roll with that. But I think I tried at one point, as when I was younger, like trying to be a player or whatever, but that didn't.
I just don't see how psychologically it can be overall healthy. Or it's almost like yes, you can make things work, but it's like single parent households. Yes, there can be successful single parent households. Yes, it's not all single parent households are perfect.
It's like what Chris Rock actually said. Coming back to Chris Rock, he says you can drive with both feet if you want to, but that doesn't mean it makes it good.
Right.
It's stupid. It's basically because he's talking about single parenthood, and he's saying that a lot of like black women are like, yeah, I don't need no man, I don't need them, and blah blah blah. And he's like, how stupid can you be? You need to have a father figure in the house, especially a boy needs to know how to be trained by a father figure in the house. And he's
absolutely.
like, you could drive with both feet if you want to, but that doesn't make it good.
Right. Well, I'd say the same thing for a guy, a single dad trying to raise a daughter. He can't teach her how to be a woman. How is he gonna possibly empathize when she has her first period? All he's gonna say is, "Hey, shove that thing up your twat, baby." When you have
right.
But he's not gonna know. It's different, man. A mom can talk you through this shit if you're a girl.
I guess and that's my point. It's kind of the same thing. I'm not saying that statistically. It just seems like they're not going to work out. It just seems, and I've actually learned a little bit about polygamy and polyamorous. most of the time it doesn't work out. They split up.
Yeah, they move on.
You know,
Well,
they
that's
move
but that's
on.
the thing.
Because I think secretly one person ends up wanting to just be monogamous.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. The power
And
structure.
that's what ends up happening is that one person who wants to be monogamous is going to get screwed.
Because when you want to be monogamous,
going to get screwed though.
Yep.
They're going to get screwed because the other one doesn't.
Right. Somebody puts more feelings into it. So yeah, I don't know. Because like I said, I mean, I've talked to people that say they're polyamorous, but I don't know. You know, I mean, I guess if that's what you're into, you know, it wouldn't be my thing.
Interesting question. We're going all over the place here tonight, kids.
It's a free for all, like we said, man.
Free for all. April Fools.
Damn right, motherfucker. Well, okay. Since we're doing that, let's talk about closure a little bit, man.
Closure,
like how you need closure. And Cruise Control, I'll give credit where credit is due, because Cruise Control is very good at giving people closure. I have seen him tell somebody to fuck off. I don't want anything to do with you anymore. And that door is stapled shut with a nail gun. You know, like that person, that's
what us therapists call setting a boundary and sticking to it.
And he does that. Well, here's the deal. This is why I was wanting to talk about this a little bit. So Cruise Control and I have a mutual friend, our buddy G Motors, and he has another friend that was out here with years ago visiting. And this guy, you remember Jason, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so this guy pissed pretty much everybody off when he was out here with our buddy, and including our buddy. Our buddy was like, as soon as
including me.
Yeah, well, everyone, Cruise Control too. Yeah,
everybody.
Everyone. I mean, I will not exaggerate.
Let me use your computer, dude.
Or when he looked in our refrigerator. What do you have in here? What do you have to eat? Remember?
Yeah, like what the fuck are you doing in our? And I think I said something, didn't I?
Oh yeah, we all jumped this shit. We're like, what the fuck are you doing, bro? So he pissed everybody off pretty much, right? Well, this guy has been like, he friended me on Facebook a few years ago, and he keeps writing me saying, why doesn't he, return my calls? How come he doesn't respond to anything? And so I didn't say anything because I didn't want to get involved for the longest time. Well, I was just thinking about it tonight because the guy had just sent me a message today asking how this guy's mom's doing. How's, G Motor's mom doing? And I said, you know what? I don't think G Motors actually laid it out to this dude and said, hey, bro, this is why I don't want to be your friend anymore.
But he doesn't have to. At some point you have to get the hint. You have to say, if someone stops receiving your call or stops answering you, that is the boundary setting.
Yeah, but you know what, dude? Okay, I do it a lot. I'm pretty bad at that shit. And if I want to write somebody off, I'll not send them. I won't call or I won't return their calls or whatever. And then they keep calling, and then I'm pissed off going, why can't they get the hint? Really, I should have just squared the game off and said, hey, this is why I don't want to fucking
talk. But the reason why he's talking to you is because he's not talking to him at all. He has absolutely no idea what's going on with him because he cut him off completely. So he doesn't allow that to happen. That's closure. Well, that's going no contact and saying.
Well, here's the deal. Here's the deal. There's a good way of closing it, and there's a bad way, right?
Right.
Just like any kind of. I wasn't thinking about even talking about this tonight, but heck, I'll throw it out there.
I'm sure it's a big thing for you.
There's different types of communication. There's aggressive, passive aggressive, and then there's like submissive communication, like, oh, I'm just gonna let him step all over me, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then there's assertive, which is what Jeff does. And Jeff says, I do not want to speak to you anymore. Goodbye. Peace out. I'm done.
But I think it closes.
It's actually true.
Yeah. Yeah.
He doesn't reopen the door again and say, oh, well, you can come in again.
No.
Yeah.
No.
He slams the door and locks it.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's, I think, the best way to do it, because it does give somebody closure as much as as uncomfortable.
And it depends on at what point you're at too. Like if you reach a point, like, and that's the thing about, like, I reach a point and I make a decision and I don't tell them, like they think, oh, well, I can just, I give an example, ex-girlfriend. I tried to be a friend with her after being after she was my girlfriend. I was trying to be a friend with her after we were broken up.
Yeah.
And we had mutual friends, and I was young and I was stupid and didn't realize that was usually a great idea, honestly. Seriously, in my opinion. At least with her. some ways, at one point, I just got tired of her just like she's, oh God, you're looking this way. And at one point I said, oh, we're just having fun. I put my hand on her shoulder and she raked her arm around me. We're not like that anymore.
Oh, damn.
And she was just completely ripping on me. And I bought her dinner because she took me to the airport. So we got to the airport. I get home and I realized, and she didn't realize this was going to happen. She didn't think I'm going to call her up and go
and say, I don't want to talk to you anymore. Go fuck yourself. Yeah. And
I have the switch turn on. So mine's more abrupt. Mine's like almost.
So maybe his is more aggressive than it is assertive.
Yeah. Sort of aggressive because at some point you don't take any abuse and you have to go, well, yeah, honey, that was really abusive what you did. Like if you don't know it's abusive and you're
right.
That happened recently where a guy
here's the main difference between assertive and aggressive communication though. Mm-hmm. Assertive is like this. I'm gonna let you know what I feel and I'm not gonna treat you like shit while doing it.
I see what you're saying.
I'm not gonna be like you fucking suck, you this, you that, blah, blah, blah. I'm not gonna be upset about it. I'm just gonna say, hey, you know what? I think this relationship is done.
So that's assertive.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's assertive.
Well, interesting.
I think this relationship is done. I'm cool with you. You're cool with me, but it's just not going to work out. I've got to do what's right for me. He's out.
Give him the Stevie Nicks, Lindsey Buckingham, go your own way, right?
You can go your own way.
I think in that situation, I think because Max was there and he heard the whole thing. I think in that situation, I was kind of like quasi assertive aggressive. I didn't say you suck and you're a bitch and blah, blah,
he
blah.
wasn't mean, but
I just said we're not. And I was just angry. I was like, we're not talking anymore. Don't call me. Don't contact me. Leave me alone. We're done. And I said it in a firm way, and I was angry, but I wasn't like, you're a this and that, and you suck.
Yeah.
But see, there was no guessing there. It was like you laid it out 100%. And I think that's the best thing. I think when you get closure, because I've been on the other end of that where somebody just stopped talking to me and I'm like, what the fuck? What did I do? And that kind of fucks you up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like,
it leaves the door open in a way, because it's like, is it just that they don't want to talk to me, or maybe they lost their phone, or maybe they it's almost like oh, there must be some other reason, because
a lot of speculating.
We don't believe that we piss people off. In general, we do not believe that we piss people off.
Yeah.
No.
Right?
No. Of course not. You never think, I piss people off.
It goes back to that whole, like, what were we talking about? The fundamental attribution error. Oh, we didn't do anything wrong. I don't know why they're
from our perspective. From our perspective, we don't know. So that's what empathy. That's where empathy comes in, and where like self-awareness comes in. You go, oh shit. Right. If I were in a situation on the other end and heard the same thing or got the same treatment, I would be upset too. Yeah.
Like I would prefer somebody just tell me straight the fuck up. I don't want to talk to you anymore. I don't like you. That I can roll with that. It would hurt a little bit, but I would rather take that than get, just blown off.
Since we're all blind, and I bet you most of our audience is blind, I'm gonna throw something out that I used to always tell girls at the very beginning. I would tell girls, you know what? I'm visually impaired. If you don't like it, let's just like cut it off right now. Like I don't even want to. Yeah. Like I don't even want to deal with later on, like 2 years down the line. Oh, I don't like the things that you do, and because of your blindness. And right. You're like, I don't want to hear that. Yeah, all I want to know is, are you down or are you not? And if you're not, then neither one of us gets hurt. It's like, it's cool. Like, let's just get it out of the way at the very beginning.
Well, see, what's funny, okay, like when I used to get on these phone chat lines back in the day, that was part of my greeting. I put that in there. By the way, I'm totally blind, was born that way. I had another friend that used to get on those things, and he wouldn't tell people that he was blind because he thought his mindset was, well, if I say that, they're not going to want to talk to me. Well, I'm like, let me weed them the hell out of here.
Exactly.
Right.
Get them weeded out. And that's another thing. Did we talk about this last time? I don't know if we talked about this before, about how like how romance. We talked about how romance is a well, for me, it's romance is kind of not a problem, but we talked about how it's disillusioned, and it's not reality. You know, romance, the Prince Charming sweeping off your feet,
the honeymoon stage, whatever. Yeah.
But there's also the idea of like, I'm all for telling people up front everything.
Yeah.
I'm not into woke. If you cheat on me, we're done.
Right.
You know, like just get that shit out. Like, people don't do that. Oh, that's just not romantic. Well, no, but if you tell them in the beginning, I am not, adultery is an absolute deal breaker. If you cheat on me, we are done. There are no exceptions. If you tell them that right then, and they do, then they know. But a lot of people don't tell them, and then they have this renegotiation of shit.
Well, you never said anything about that.
Yeah, well, but it's true. Like, or I just did it once. I won't do it again.
Right.
But then they know if you take them back, well, they can do it again because they did it to you once. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like when you're just like, if you cheat on me, goodbye, done. No exceptions.
Yeah.
No.
Like you understand that's a definite deal breaker. Like that ain't happening. You know what I'm saying? Mine is like,
and you know, in a way that is romantic. I'll have to spin that in a different direction.
True, you're right.
In a way that is romantic.
Yeah.
Like opening up.
It is romantic because it's basically saying, I don't want you to be with anybody but me.
Well, yes, if we're in a
I don't want to be with anybody but you, and I don't want you to be with anybody but me.
Oh, you're talking about it's
pretty romantic.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it is in a way, but I mean, it's letting them know, like, hey, if you do fuck around, you know, we're done. There's no negotiating.
No, but it's to set that boundary. He's absolutely right. Because if I'm in a committed relationship, it's a fucking committed relationship, period. And that's how serious I take it. And also it goes the same thing with other things like what's the other one I was going to say? Fuck, it's going to come to me.
But opening up is definitely important.
Yeah.
For sure.
But just like setting boundaries in the beginning.
It's called getting old cruise control.
Yeah, it's called senior moments and whatever the fuck. It's Bidenotics.
Because a lot of people will commit. They'll be in a committed relationship and be like,
that deserves a slap.
Yeah.
Oh, glad I'm on Zoom, man. Nobody can touch me.
Oh man.
So
the world is crazy. But like setting those boundaries, it's also romantic to say, you know, like to set your boundaries in other ways. You know, like I don't like this, I don't like that. You know, I'm not going to move in with you, or whatever. You know, like right now, I won't move in with you for the next 2 years at least. What? Right. No, I will not. But that's set, that's known, and that's so anti the bullshit that we deal with all the time. What? You can't do that.
Yeah. You know? Well, and the problem is too, you'll get people thinking, I'll change their mind. You know?
That's so
true. Because it's, hey, listen, didn't I lay everything out when I first with one of my exes that you know very well, you know, how I wanted things and what was expected and whatnot. And they tried so hard to sway me and mold me and change me. And I'm like, And the more you try, guess what happens? You know, like I say, you try to be a salesman, you're going to end up a failed man. So, you know, but yeah, but it's good to lay everything out in the beginning because it's almost like with work, you know, where they say to document everything, you know, that's your way of documenting and saying, hey, I told you.
I just think, you know, as adults, it is definitely a lot about getting older because people just fall into relationships and they wonder why they're in terrible relationships. And it's like, you didn't even establish your beliefs beforehand.
Right.
Well, she said she was woke. You know, she said white privilege a couple times, but man, she's got great tits. Like, okay. Right. And now you're in a relationship with someone who's a feminist and you know, thinks that you're
shit,
whatever the hell it is. And you have opposing.
Well, I think that also goes to your so I firmly believe, you know, just as a therapist in general, that a person shouldn't get into a relationship until they really know what they want out of the relationship. So
true. Well,
like speaking of values, like let's say like the whole thing about feminists, like Cruise Control doesn't like feminists. So the minute he finds out this girl is a feminist, he's going to be like, you know what? No, that's not for me. Nope. Instead of saying, oh, she's so beautiful. She's so hot.
And I'll just dismiss everything. That. Yeah.
And I'm just going to bypass this major value system that's going to possibly destroy the relationship. you've got to know what your values are. You have to know what your belief system is, and
true.
say, can I deal with somebody who has somewhat of a slightly different belief system, or is this a deal breaker?
Well, here's the other side of that.
That's
because
very true.
I know sometimes too, people will say, well, what kind of woman are you looking for? Well, sometimes you don't know, because there might be a trait that they exhibit that you didn't realize you liked or didn't like. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So,
Yeah.
you know, you might find something that you're like, oh shit, oh, I really dig, damn, okay, that's cool, you know, and that you weren't going in looking. You don't, you know, when people start writing down, oh, these are the 10 things I want in my mate, you know, and you're like, well, but what if they had this shit?
What's really funny though is that sometimes the mate that you get is not even nearly close to what you originally thought you wanted. So I'll give you an example, just because I know my wife's not going to listen to this anyway.
Oh, that's too bad.
She's not an audience member. Sorry, guys.
Damn. So she had subscribed to us and everything?
Nah, she didn't.
Nah, she hears this shit all the time when she's around him. So he's
that's true.
Yeah. There you go. That's probably true. That's probably true.
Yeah.
No, actually, this is just something about her with me, and she'll say it too. So it's nothing big. She was looking for a guy who looked like Fat Joe. I don't know if you know who Fat Joe is.
The rapper Fat Joe?
Like a rapper.
Yeah,
the rapper Fat Joe.
Uh-huh.
She was looking for a rapper like that, like a guy like that, who has a bald head. He's kind of big. He's kind of bulky, big, whatever, right?
Right.
And
sounds like
who does she meet? Who does she meet? She meets a skinny kid with long hair.
Well, you know, that's the point, man. You know, that's
with no tattoos. I don't have tattoos.
And that goes
like
back to what
Joe
I was
does.
just saying. You know, when you sit and you write out this thing of this is what I want, this is what I want.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of times it may not be even who the fuck you thought you were gonna. You know, like damn, I you know, so there might be a trait in there, obviously that.
Sure.
You know, you exhibited that she was like, damn, I dig that. I didn't.
like,
you know.
and then
But if you notice though that all of the traits that she talks about, or at first, had to do with looks.
That's true.
You know, I don't know about cruise control, because he has a little bit more vision than I do and than you do.
Oh, looks are very important. Absolutely.
But looks aren't all that to me. Like,
no,
it's fine if you actually believe in the same value system than I do. I take that more seriously than how you look.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Or just certain behaviors, you know, like I'll tell you, one big fat fucking turn off for me is women that are still living at home with their parents way into their adulthood. Like that just shows me you're not self-sufficient. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's a big fat fucking turn off for me, dude. I've actually turned down a lot of chicks that, you live at home.
For me, it's more the ideology stuff, like these people that like have, you know, like, like I said, like
I agree.
And it's interesting because like a decade ago, I would have told you I would never date a Christian.
Right.
And now I'm like, I don't really care as much anymore, because spirituality to me is personal more now. I'm not as much of as an atheist as I used to be, or agnostic, whatever you call me. Right.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, if the other values align with me, and they didn't push their shit onto me and try to make me go to church with them, then I could absolutely date a Christian. Absolutely.
And maybe you would go to church every now and again just because you want to hang out with them.
Yeah, or maybe I would, or maybe depending on, maybe there's cool people there that they're, you know, they have a group that they go to, where they go to frickin' places and have a good time. Who knows?
Right.
And a lot of those things that those things, like I said, I would never thought about. Oh no, I'm not gonna date some Christian chick who goes to church. It's like, because like my mom was, you know, certain people in my life, and this is something I would never do. But certain people in life were like, you need to go. You should go to church. There's a lot of happy women. I'm like, I'm not going to go to church to meet women, Mom.
No,
because that's disingenuous. That's like going there for the complete wrong reason. If you're going to church, you're going to worship Jesus or the Lord or whatever, whoever's that God for that church.
Reminds me of that scene in Boys in the Hood when he's like, you know where you can get bitches?
Oh,
church.
And I'm sure I could. Funny. I am absolutely sure that if I started going to church and standing there and taking communion, you know, whatever, because my book raised Catholic, you know, or whatever.
Right.
But that's just so. That's
well, my thing is, don't expect me to change. Like, don't expect me to adopt your belief system necessarily.
Yeah. So here's the funny thing about me. I was very anti-Christian for a long time. because people would come up to me and try to heal me and
Oh,
stuff.
shit.
Oh yeah, well that's always been my
Oh,
turn off for it
man.
too.
Yeah.
That was so, I was just so annoyed by that.
Yeah.
And I would let them know, I would let them have it. Like, yeah, you know, one of your buddies came up to me and tried to heal me, and you could see that it didn't work. So I don't see how you think you're going to get it to work this time.
Yeah.
Go ahead and do whatever you think you can do, but it's not going to work. So,
and that's always been my big turnoff to religion too, is the same reason. You know, oh, I need to fix you. You're broken. There's something wrong with you. Jesus healed the blind.
Here's the thing about it, though, is one reason that I would definitely go, you know, and I get that too. I got that a lot. Like, you know, God made, you know, and you're a God's, you know, you're a God blessing from God, and fuck, you know, like, because I'm disabled, I'm a blessing from God. It's like fucking a broken toy is a blessing from Santa. What the fuck? You know, like,
yeah,
let that sink
That's
in for
funny
a
as
second
fuck.
there, dude. That's a good one, man.
Funny.
Okay,
like
that
that
is
one.
funny.
Yeah. So anyway, but the problem is that most Christians have similar other ideals to me. A lot of them are interested in having parental or having homeschooling and other things that I feel are I quote unquote conservative, but whatever the hell that word means.
Correct.
So that's interesting. So I've kind of like gone, wow, these.
Well, you know what, too? It's all of your, and this is a sociological term, which I'm sure you're familiar with, Luie, but your latitude of acceptance versus your latitude of rejection. And then there's the latitude of, I think it's neutrality, where you just kind of don't really give a shit either way. Yeah. So you have things that are in your latitude of acceptance, things that you're like, oh, that's a definite. Yeah. And then there's other shit that will make you, like you said, the woke stuff, you know, where you're just like, oh God, no, you know?
Right. So what's funny is that when I moved to Texas, because I was a Californian, I was let's say I was a liberal, but I wasn't like woke, not like, that's
a new breed of liberal, man.
No, I could go into that all the time. A conservative, a liberal of 10 years ago, even compared to a liberal, is conservative today.
Correct.
It's totally shifted so dramatically.
And
it's
so
the same.
The thing is that my religion actually changed my value system too, because I realized that my religion, it coincides with certain things, like you were just talking about, how my religion basically says, you know, don't kill babies, you know, don't abort, you know, don't, you know, certain things like that. And it's like, oh, conservatives believe that. Well, I guess I'm leaning more towards conservatism now, because my religion kind of not necessarily mandates it, but like it
the
lines
logic
up
of
with it.
The logic of it lines
up with it.
Yeah.
And so I slowly veered into conservatism, at first being so liberal, and my wife was always conservative because, you know, born and raised in Texas. She's just
that's been the framework.
Yeah. So she's like, we used to get into little arguments here and there, and now we don't get into arguments at all. We talk about the same stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, it's crazy how, you know, where our belief systems change. You know, even me, probably 20 years ago, I was more what may have been considered liberal, but you know, that's changed over time, man. You know, there's certain things that I'm like.
It's interesting as well, because people have think that religion is just one thing, right? Like for me, religion, I've always said, and I will say this is going to be a mantra for the rest of my life. I don't have a problem with religion. I do not like organized religion. I don't like religion when it becomes like profit and stuff like that. All this bullshit that happens because it corrupts. Just the truth. Power just corrupts. But I have you can call what I believe in a religion. I believe in the hero's journey, which is basically growing as a person and becoming more self-aware and more acceptance of life and more grateful for life.
That's just growth. Yeah.
But that could be considered just as much of a religion as believing in God and Jesus. Like it's just a belief system. It's spirituality. In a way, I want to be more enlightened. I want to know myself more. I want to know what I bring to the table. I want to be more grateful for the things I have and stop getting all this bullshit off my, you know.
Yeah. So there's a branch of psychology. It's called existentialism.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yep.
And humanism, and they kind of both agree with your stance on, you know, definitely about growth, about basically becoming what they call self-actualized.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
Exactly.
Well, I think that's the natural progression of life. If you don't grow, there's something fucked up with
Well,
Right?
just like we've talked about with the Peter Pan syndrome and in the time that we talked about, why don't people grow up? It doesn't happen to everybody.
Yeah,
Well, that's what I'm saying.
I mean, everybody
can-
on this call, yeah, it's true. I
just find,
don't
man, people
stop
gotta-
myself from pushing further and further,
Right.
up the ladder,
But
whatever
remember,
ladder
guys,
I'm on.
what else grows? You know what you can also grow is a tumor. So growth isn't always, you can grow bad
that's-
habits and
wow.
grow bad fucking
grow at a bad way.
I thought we were going in some other direction there.
I thought too. I was going to talk about
No, but I'm serious.
my dick. Or
Dude,
something.
dude, don't make me. Hold on. Oh, motherfucker, get your name out of my motherfucking mouth. But seriously, like that's because you can grow. It's like, oh, growth is a person. But I've seen people who were 40 and look at them at 60, and they're way worse than they were at 40 because they've.
Well, that's true, and they've almost both. To me, they've gone backwards almost. You know what I'm saying?
Which is why it's the knowledge. It's the knowledge of actually pursuing the growth. I think is the difference. Like, and I think that's why Christianity, in a way, is so. I'm not a Christian. I guess maybe it's religion, but religion in a way is a path for a lot of people for personal growth and like keeping on the path, right? Like
in a lot of cases, but some people are fucking. I know a lot of religious people that are horrible people.
I'm talking about the people that actually follow the
Follow it
tenets
for
of
real
the
kind of
religion,
thing.
for real. Like
Yeah.
be kind to their neighbor, not the ones who are, the ones who actually. Because there's a lot of people that would be far worse off if they didn't have religion. I mean, look at what's happening in our fucking country.
I mean, I'm just gonna throw it out there. I'm a Christian, so the true meaning of Christianity, as far as like the real meaning of Christianity, is to become more and more holy or more and more perfect every day. Are we going to ever achieve that? No, we're not going to achieve that at all. We're all sinners. We're all gonna, we're all gonna not achieve that anytime during our day. We're gonna always mess up. Right.
Well,
but the idea kind of leans towards growth. I bet you Islam is like that too.
Well, Islam's a religion, but you got crazy fucking fundamentalists, wacko.
Sure.
That's what I'm saying. Organized religion.
Fundamentalists
that's
everywhere.
organized. Yeah. If you follow the 10 commandments, even if you just follow the 10 fucking commandments, think about how much harm you stop doing to other people.
Right.
Really, just baseline shit. Thou shalt not kill.
Right.
Thou shalt not love your neighbor's wife. Boom, right there. Boom,
I think that's why you're so dead set on monogamous relationships, whether you want to admit it or not. I think some of your Catholic, upbringing has influenced that.
Well, American values too, just like individualism, but monogamy is always considered. I mean, adulterers were always despised.
Yeah. Well, it depends on how you grew up.
They used to be.
Well, like Luie was saying.
No, they aren't. Did you know that almost 100% of kids cheat on each other now? They cheat. They just do it.
Well, that's the thing.
Most kids now in high school, it's just a thing. You just cheat on.
Like let's fuck around with somebody else just cause, or whatever.
It's fucking awful because they don't have any. That's a lot of. There's a conversation. This could go on for hours, but
yeah.
It's crazy,
right?
Yeah, man. Wow.
Did you have anything, by the way, since we were going to talk about humor? Did you have any stuff you wanted to bring up about humor? Because one question I might have for you before we go, if you got a little bit more time. I know you have a busy schedule because you have to go.
Yeah, right.
Hey, man, you're a professional now, dude. I don't know. You might have meetings or something.
But like, do you and your wife have the same sense of humor, and how important do you feel that is to your relationship?
Oh yeah. Oh, nice way to tie it up, dude.
Okay. So there's things that my wife does that make me laugh. But I wouldn't do the same things. Like she's very good at impersonating people.
That's funny as fuck.
Yeah, that's hilarious, dude. It's hilarious. It's crazy. It's just really funny, like really funny stuff. Some of the stuff that I say, she laughs at it only because she thinks it's so stupid sometimes. You know what I mean? It's like stupid funny. And I'm like, oh, that was actually really witty, but I guess it just went over your head or something. I don't know. But I mean, she's a smart girl, but I guess my little crazy, kind of dry, witty humor sometimes kind of like doesn't get past people sometimes. Like, what? What did you just? I get it.
Do you watch the same comedies? You know,
Yeah, do you watch
the
same things funny like that you watch on TV or something?
That too, you know, like how important is that to your relationship? Because to me, it's just freaking important. Like they have to be able to have a strong sense of humor, like really strong, like.
Well, and yeah, well, and I'll tell you,
I think no, and here's why. Because I can listen to stand-up comics without watching them. Yeah, I guess because of my my visual impairment.
Right.
I can listen to them without even having to look at them. But it has to be visually funny. I think for her, it has to be visually funny.
Interesting.
Because Kevin Hart, there's times where Kevin Hart does some visual things
like slapstick
and
stuff.
I do not know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. And my wife is cracking up. She's like, that guy, he's so crazy. He's crazy.
It's like movies.
And I'm like, dang, I wish I knew what he was doing. You know what I mean? Like, or understood why it was so funny.
Or you have to get it described and it just isn't a good
it's not funny at that point. Yeah.
And it's like
Max and I have watched plenty of movies where I have to explain shit to him like that.
Yeah, where I'm just like, oh shit, what just happened? Or
whatever. Fucking annoying. No, I mean because it's for both of us, not just for me.
Well, yeah, because like, how am I supposed to react once you told me? It's like I'm watching a sporting event sometimes.
Yeah,
and everybody goes,
and then you miss the next scene because it might be a talking scene,
Right.
Correct.
Exactly. So it's kind of now with descriptive audio, you can.
It's interesting though because like, I guess it goes back to the same thing before. Like if someone got offended if I made a joke about, like I've had this happen before, and it's just a complete turn off where it's like. You make a joke, and it's just a harmless joke, and then, why didn't you make it? It's like it was actually teasing.
The word, the words that bother me the most that are really tough for me is when somebody says that's not funny. Well, I thought it was fucking hilarious, so I think it's funny. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I guess if I'm with somebody, they kind of have to share the similar sense of humor, or be half joking and go, that's not funny. What the fuck?
So that's the main thing, like that I've kind of gathered from what the articles that I was reading were telling me is basically like, sense of humor. Everybody has one, but not everybody has the same one.
Exactly.
And the reason why we don't have the same one is because we're all from different cultural backgrounds and all from different, we come from different places.
Yes.
So like, I actually get, well, I guess my wife does too, but I actually get a lot more Black humor because I kind of grew up around Black people. I get where they're coming from most of the time.
Right. Yeah.
I get like Black stand-up comics are way more funnier than white stand-up comics. See, even though there's certain times where white stand-up comics will be like, wow, that was hilarious. That was so.
See, I'm exactly opposite.
That was so offensive that it was so funny.
Right. Well, that's it. Like guys like Doug Stanhope or whatever. So I'm kind of in the middle, man.
I love Louie C.K. even though
Louie C.K. is dope too.
Mexican.
See, that's what I'm saying. I'm actually the opposite. Sorry, Max. Go ahead.
Oh, and I was gonna say I guess I'm kind of in the middle. So, but because I like kind of both. If you're funny, you're funny.
Yeah.
But Cruise Control, what were you saying? For yours is more.
It's definitely more. Because white humor, quote unquote, I don't believe me. I mean, there are certain Black comedians,
sure.
But it always Black humor always centers around the difference between white people and Black people. It's just common, just a fucking common beat to the ground goddamn thing. And it's just like, okay, you're
beating the dead horse kind of thing.
Okay, yes, white people can't dance or whatever the hell it is,
Right.
Yeah.
Or this or the late jokes or all the. It's just like, all right, you're just reinforcing the same stereotypes.
It's not always.
Some of those can be funny though. I think.
When you think about Chris Rock, okay.
Yeah.
He has this little thing that is so hilarious to me, and I'm sure it's hilarious to most like Black people who are like actually conservative and like, or maybe like educated. He says there's Black people and then there's right.
Yep.
Right.
Well, that our YouTube video just got down.
Hey, I said niggas. I didn't use the hard R.
Dude, give me a break, dude. No, it doesn't matter.
Should we say it more? We'll say it more time.
Just say it more. Why not?
No. So I get what you're saying. Like Dave Chappelle is the same. I love Dave Chappelle.
Oh yeah.
I like if they're social commentary and they're taking a whack at themselves as well. They're good. But there are some people out there. It's just like, Okay, and that, so you can kind of gloss over the whole like
Oh yeah.
white black thing is sometimes, but and I think with the good comedians it's gotten beyond that. But it used to be really just 90s. It was like white people be like, it's like, all right,
Yeah.
I don't know. It depends on how they deliver it, I guess. If it seems true, I think it's funny. Like, oh yeah, we do that shit.
Like Dave Chappelle's a comic. Fucking, he's amazing. He's absolutely incredible.
Right.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
And there's
well, and you gotta like Eddie Murphy's old stuff was fucking hilarious to me. You know what I'm saying?
God. Well,
Charlie Murphy is good, really good.
Yeah, I've never watched him.
He's really good, man.
Really?
He's hilarious, dude. Yeah, he's funnier than Eddie is.
Really? I'll have to check. I'll have to check him out, man. I don't know.
But even those early 80s films were a little different. It was like they were funny because it was just like goofy funny. Like white people be like, oh, this house is crazy. Get out.
Yeah, that's what they say. Well, or Richard Pryor's joke about black people in The Exorcist. That was fucking hilarious. Get out of bed, bitch. Get the cross out your pussy.
Right?
If it was black people in The Exorcist, that is some comical shit. Like how would they react versus how you saw white people?
Cross out your pussy.
Oh, or like what would they say? What would they say? Like there was this guy. What is his name? Ari Spears. He's a guy from Mad TV, and he talked about how black people would if they were in a horror movie, it would be a totally different show. And he's like, yeah, man, we would be dancing out there and everything, and then all of a sudden we hear, we'd be like, what the hell was that? We're not gonna go find out. Let's go to the car and get the hell out of here, man. We gotta go.
right. Well, that's and me too. I really dig it. Very offensive humor too. Like recently, a couple of years ago, my buddies and I went and saw Andrew Dice Clay. He was performing out here. And even some of the shit he was saying was just hilarious. Like, remember when they first came out with Jeps? Just fucked up shit.
Yeah, that's the generation we grew up in, and we'll end it on this one. I think is the difference in humor. We've really gotten puritanical. We've gotten restricted on what's funny because the ego is involved. You can't make fun of me because I don't have the strong enough fucking personality to go, these are jokes. Oh, I see where you're going there. That's funny.
Correct. And I think it has to do with maturity. So when I was younger, I wouldn't be able to take Louis C.K.'s jokes about black people the way he does certain things, or he says that word that we can't say on YouTube. But he says it with like an ER, and you're like, whoa, that's so crazy. But it's so funny. You're like, oh, I can't believe he's saying that. Wow. All right.
Well, that's it. It makes you go, oh shit, this is real.
Yeah, it just seems like.
But when I was younger, I would have been like, turn that crap off. I don't want to watch that.
Well,
even then again, man, in the 80s and 90s, I don't care if you had whatever race friends you had. You would throw around racial jokes all the frickin' time.
Oh yeah, sure.
Well, that was our. Sure. Hey, do you remember?
Louie, and guess what the biggest joke was?
Like the Berean jokes?
For a white race. It was for a white race. It was how many Polacks. Yeah, that was the biggest goddamn
Polak jokes.
Polak jokes everywhere.
Well, Louie, I don't know if you remember.
Polacks were stupid. That was the biggest one. There were jokes about other races, but Polacks had the what's a Polak invention? A submarine with screen doors.
Right. Oh no, I remember. There were plenty of Polak.
Just dozens and dozens of those. My point is that it's just we used to be able to do that kind of shit.
Well, even like the sitcoms, like a show like Sanford and Son or Archie, All in the Family. Like you couldn't show something like that today.
I love Archie Bunker, dude.
Yeah, Archie Bunker was dope, but you
man.
He would get pulled off TV so quick. But yet the shit that people find funny, like I've watched some recent sitcoms, and they're stupid. It's just like, wow, somebody says slut and the whole audience is rolling. Like,
what? In the canned laughter, like what's that stupid show?
3 Men?
The Big Bang.
Oh, God. Barf. The Big Barf Theory.
You guys should listen. You guys should go and listen to the Big Bang Theory on YouTube with the laugh track turned off.
Oh.
It's the eeriest and non-funniest thing ever. because they're trying to get a laugh, but the things they're saying aren't really that funny compared to the laugh tracks that are on there.
Right.
So you'll
I
listen.
was watching a video about Ellen DeGeneres, the Ellen DeGeneres show.
Yeah.
Okay.
He says, "Man, if we take this laugh track out, look how funny this is. It's not funny at all."
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's and so a lot of those have canned laughter in them, huh?
Oh God. And so you'll be listening like, oh my God, that's ridiculous. Oh, it's really ridiculous.
Yeah.
And you take it out and it's just eerie. Like you do it for Friends and it's like creepy.
Oh,
Like
well,
they
Friends
see-
was the first one that I saw was getting when they were getting whack. I was like, this show is. But you used to like that show for a while, didn't you?
I liked parts of it. Mainly it was Jennifer Aniston.
I actually like
and,
Seinfeld.
Oh, I didn't like Seinfeld either. I thought he was kind of
Yeah.
whack.
See, I wasn't a
No.
huge. Yeah.
Here's the deal. Seinfeld is not funny.
No
The
kidding.
characters around him are freaking hilarious, dude.
Oh, like Newman
You gotta-
and all those
you gotta-
dudes.
Yeah, you got to watch them for Kramer, George, even Elaine's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Seinfeld is boring.
I was gonna
Seinfeld
say I
is-
don't find him that funny. I'm like this.
No, he's not. He is not funny at all. But if you watch it with the expectation that the characters around him are going to be hilarious and stupid and crazy, then you're like, whoa, this is actually a pretty good show. If it was just him, no. But
Oh,
because the other characters are there, it's very good.
that's what makes
It's
it
actually
funny.
very good.
I just
Yeah.
I've never really it never held my attention. I was like, this is stupid, you know. So
Well, I actually thought it was stupid when it was actually out, but then when it went into syndication, somebody showed me it one time, and I was like, "Huh, this is not bad." You know,
Yeah.
like I would actually watch this, and so of course, you can binge watch it at that point. So I did. I would just like watch the shows.
oh,
back
and
to
some
back.
shit. Okay, now some shit that I found offensive. Okay, was like Everybody Loves Raymond. Complete
Oh,
male bashing
gosh.
bullshit. You know what I'm saying? And I just was like, this is not,
Oh, male, that's the stupid guys. So they're all just
yeah,
weak
dumb
men.
guy who doesn't listen to his wife and she always knows best. And I was just like, fuck this show. So yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm more of an Al Bundy kind of guy.
Oh, Al Bundy was the
Yes.
shit. I love
Yes.
Al Bundy, man.
Yes.
Al Bundy was dope.
Heck yeah, boy.
You know?
Al Bundy.
That was the last of the best sitcoms, man. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, and with that, guys, I don't know if you have anything else to add, any other stuff to add.
Nah, I think we're good.
yeah.
I mean, I think it all has to do with. I think it all has to do with one, who's presenting the joke, two, how they actually mean it. Like, I know that as much as I've watched Louis C.K., when he says the N word, he doesn't mean anything by it. He's just trying to get. He's trying to get
Get a reaction.
Get a reaction, and it works. You
Yeah.
know, it
Yeah.
works. You
Well,
know,
that's-
but if some kind of like hickish kind of guy that kind of sounds like a Ku Klux Klan members try to present the same thing, you're like,
Although you
where
know
are you
what
coming from? What are you doing? Where are you coming from with this?
Although I got to tell you, there's a guy named Johnny Rebel you might want to check out at some point, but he
Okay.
has songs about that. He using that word, you know, and
Johnny Reb, huh?
Rebel, R-E-B.
Yeah, but you know, that's what they used to call like the old like I don't know if it's like
Oh, the
Yankees
Southern-
or something like that. Hey, Johnny Reb. You
Oh, Johnny
know?
Reb. Oh. Wow, no, this is Johnny Rebel. But it was funny because I actually showed a black friend of mine his music one time. I was like, dude, listen to this shit. This is fucking racist as fuck. And he sat there and listened and laughed. And he was like, oh my God. You know why? Because with that, the joke isn't on the actual race. The joke's on the idiot saying the racial thing. You know,
Yeah,
like
Right.
that's the
Right.
moron
and
right
that's society where it should be. But now we're getting away
Yeah.
from that again. We're getting
Yeah.
away from that ludicrous making fun of them for their
Yeah.
and letting them say what they want to and go, God, these guys are idiots.
there. Right.
And now instead
listen
we've
to this
got
guy be a-
segregated school. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
Jesus.
Oh yeah. It's a big rabbit hole.
But I
man.
think if you you know, and this is just me. I mean, it could be just my strange sense of humor. But if you take it as, wow, I can't believe they said that. Like that's like so bold and brash and brave and crazy. Like somebody would probably, if you were on the street and you said that, they would shoot you. You know what I mean? Like whoa, like that's
Yeah.
crazy.
Exactly.
Then
Yeah.
it makes me laugh because I'm like, wow, that was hilarious. That's
oh, yeah.
like wow.
Damn, you had balls
know?
to do that, you know.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
But
So that's that. You know, that's where I come from. So it's like it's all about the person presenting it, but then it's the person who is actually in the audience too. Like, you got to have that same sense of humor. Like, okay, if you walk into a comedy club and you're like, I'm like, I always get offended by stuff that people say.
Then you shouldn't be there.
You don't deserve to be in a damn comedy club.
Yeah, you're in the wrong place, man.
Yeah. Trigger warnings are not real. Trigger warnings, no such thing. Don't never ever.
You ever heard of Craig Ferguson? He's a
no.
Yeah.
He's a
Oh,
you have okay. So he's a Scottish. I don't know if he's Scottish. Is he Scottish? Yeah, I think he's Scottish. Anyway, he says, yeah, if you come to the club and you say, I'm offended, just get ready because you're going to get offended. I don't care.
yeah. Well, that's shit. It led me to something else, and I totally fucking spaced what I was going to say now. Oh, here's a funny guy that I've recently found out about. Have you guys heard of Alex Stein?
I don't think so. Maybe.
You got to look him up on YouTube.
Familiar.
He basically went into a city council meeting acting like a liberal and did this whole rap. And that shit was funny, dude. He like goes and he trolls these city council meetings and just says a bunch of like, he's not being serious. He's totally joking, but he's acting like this really woke person. It's fucking, check him out, dude. Alex Stein on YouTube.
Yeah.
So,
cool.
But
all right, guys. Well,
on that note, fuck
this
sandwiches.
is an energetic episode.
Hell yeah.
And we'll keep you. Are you still doing your Monday stuff? So are you actually don't do that anymore?
I am not doing it anymore.
Yeah, you stopped. What happened?
Yeah, life happened. It was kind of hard to come up with material every single Monday,
Oh yeah. For a while you were on fire though.
I don't have the brain waves that Max has. He comes up with these
these
crazy ideas out of the blue. I'm like, wow, that's a good
Plus,
idea.
You've got a career blossoming, of course. Everything else.
Oh, sure.
For you, so
yeah.
But
it could push your career along even further, I think. You know what I'm saying? Especially it's what you do. So
sure.
But anyway, well, God damn it, y'all. Shit, this has been Shrink Wrap. We won't even put a date on this motherfucker.
Yeah, who knows when it's going up? But,
Exactly.
Okay, let's all say it together, guys. Let's not wait. Let's just say it not go the slow route.
Right, just say it together in unison.
Yeah,
well, let's say who we are first.
Yeah,
right?
of course, because I'm Cruise Control.
I'm Maxwell Silverhammer.
And I'm Luie Loke.
And that's the story there, bitches. I'm faster than you fuckers.
We are nothing sacred. We are nothing sacred. We are nothing sacred.
With Maxwell Silverhammer.
We are nothing sacred. With cruise control. We are nothing sacred.